I'm Allison for Leading Edge Dog Show Academy, and today, as part of the equipment series, we are going to talk about grooming tables and the accessories that go along with it. So I'm going to try to go probably a little bit backwards. I mean, this might not even have any kind of order to it at all. But here I have a grooming table. We're going to go into what to look for in a grooming table and the different sizes available kind of at the end. So I'm going to try to set things up so that you can kind of understand what is available to you. So to that end, once you have a grooming table, for most breeds, you're probably going to want at least a grooming arm and clamp, right? So your grooming arm has to be held onto the table some way. Some grooming arms have the clamp attached. Personally, I like the clamp and the grooming arm to be separate. So where do we put the clamp, right? Like that's maybe one of the most underrated things that you need to know about having your grooming table. So if we have Fifi on the table and Fifi is going to be groomed and don't fall over, Fifs. And she's facing this way. Where do I want the clamp? Well, I definitely don't want it down here at her butt, right, on either side or at the end. And I personally do not like the clamp at the front of the table because to me, head expression, that's the first thing the judge meets. So I want to make sure it looks perfect. And I'm always like teaching my dog to look to either side of that grooming arm. I think it teaches them to kind of not stand in a straight line and I can't really see the expression. I also don't like the grooming arm to be on the show side because again, then the grooming arm is in the way of where I want my dog to look the absolute best. So I'm going to put it on the off show side, right? But I'm also not going to put it right here at the front of the table because then my dog is forced to be more at the front of the table, more chance that they are going to, always be stepping forward. I want a little bit of room. So I put it probably, that's about a fifth of the way down, but a good 6 to 8 inches away from the front of the table. So I'm going to do that over here so that it's on the off show side. And I don't like to put the clamp on top of a mat. If I have a symmetry mat or a fatigue mat or a towel or anything, I like to put it directly on the table and get it nice and tight. So thanks, Fifi. So the next thing I need is my grooming arm. My grooming arm slides through the hole in my clamp. And then, I don't like to have the grooming loop super tight around their neck. I just like it there for safety. And so I don't want it up here with a really long loop and I don't want it too low. So I'm going to put it right about here and I'm going to tighten it up. So the next thing you might have is hopefully a really nice grooming loop that can snap onto your arm. So this is a standard type arm. My favorite arm actually flips up and over. So when I'm grooming the head, I can flip it completely out of my way and then back down. But in this case, we don't really have that option. So I have Fifi here would be secured on her grooming loop. And if I was also going to use a belly band to encourage her to stand up, you can use the belly loop in a couple of ways. So here, this is a belly loop for a larger dog. And you could either use it with a second arm that you would have set up down here, or a lot of people at shows will have it like around their dog and then actually attached to the same place that you had your grooming loop attached to, like so. So the great thing about the Jelly Belly bands is that if you have a smaller dog, you can put the smaller attachment. You don't need this big wide one, and it will also do the same thing and keep them standing up, obviously. There we go. There's Fifi, right? So that way she can't sit down once the grooming is finalized. You will also see some people that have a trained dog that will take the grooming loop on and just have them attached by the belly loop. But again, that is probably personal preference as to how you want to manage that. Another great thing for assisting your dog on the stand is the Stand and Groom by Chris Christensen. And again, you just simply This one's a little bit large for Fifi, but you just simply sit it under their belly and they are good to go. They're going to remain standing up. Now, another accessory you might have is a hold-a-hose. A hold-a-hose can either hold your hot dryer or your velocity dryer simply by putting it in here, attaching it with the bungee cords, and then you have a third arm that you can kind of point the dryer wherever you need it to go, and you can be brushing with your other hand. So these are some great accessories that you might use when grooming your dog. Obviously, having the grooming arm, a grooming loop is basically where I am going to start. One of the last things that I want to talk about is grooming your dog on the table is that tables have a really rough texture by nature, right? Like that's what makes our dogs stand on them without slipping. So I like to have an anti-fatigue mat on my table. This is specifically an anti-fatigue mat for a grooming table. You can use a yoga mat, an old yoga mat, whatever you want to use. But especially if you're grooming a poodle, a Shih Tzu, any kind of breed that needs to lie down, especially lie down like in the Sphinx type position to get a top knot done, I think it's really important that we have a fatigue mat and maybe a nice thin bed or a thick towel, because you don't want them laying on their bony parts, and especially poodles, their shaved and bony parts, on that really rough surface. So that's what I wanted to say about fatigue mats, towels, and small beds that would also be on your table. Not necessarily a table accessory, but I'm going to count it in there, is some kind of top knot pillow. These are really useful, again, for any breed that needs its top knot done, Yorkies, Shih Tzus, poodles, etc., because it's a little kind of peanut shape, and they rest their head here while you do their top knot, and it kind of has like a yoga block, different height settings depending on where you need your dog's head to be. So these little top knot pillows can also just really help, and I would include that as a table accessory. So as you can see, there is a lot to say about tables, table accessories, etc. So we are going to go into the specifics of tables, table types, sizes, etc. in a separate video. So please stay tuned for that. And I hope that helped. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Please leave us a comment below, let us know what you thought, and as well, if you have any ideas for future content that you'd like to see, you can put them down there as well. You can head over to leadingedgedogshow.com where you can find our free, premium, and subscription content, and we'd love to have you join us there. As well, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications, that way you never miss another free video tutorial. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.